Real quick, guys, if you want to help me get more videos out faster, you can donate to the channel at the Cash App down below. This helps me treat these videos more like a job and will help the channel and videos to grow and come out more often. I appreciate anyone who donates or doesn't donate, and don't feel like you have to be a fan of the channel. You can still show your support by liking and commenting on the video, and with that out of the way, hope you enjoyed the video. Welcome back, my students, to a brand new episode of Comic Class, and in today's video, guys, we're going to be going over a hypothetical battle between the Batman for the New 52 series against Itachi Uchiha from the Naruto series, and talking about who would win in a fight if these two came to blows with each other. And yeah, I haven't seen a video like this on YouTube, and I thought that this would be a pretty good matchup, and the winner of this matchup will be someone that you probably don't expect. And for some people it might seem a little one-sided, but I'm here to give you what I think would happen, and I hope you guys stay to the end of the video to hear the answer I have to give for who I think would win this hypothetical battle between the New 52 Batman from the comics versus Itachi Uchiha. Now, the rules for this battle are going to be that I'm going to be using the New 52 Batman comics that we have gotten, and also I'm going to be using some of the movies that have adapted the New 52 Batman in the DCAU to kind of be able to show some of what Batman can do, which is kind of hard, when you're just doing with manga panels, whereas Itachi has an anime. So you're able to kind of like see what he can do more, so we're going to be using that. But the stuff I talk about in this video, whenever it's regarding those feats, just be reminded that those things are similar to what he does in the comics. They're relative, so it doesn't matter if you want to add them or not, because Batman is able to do both in both the animated movies as well as in the comics. He's very relative to the animated counterparts to those stories. Second thing is for Itachi, we're going to be using only the manga and the anime. We will not be using data book statements. Just to me personally, I'm a kind of like a manga purist. I feel if it's not in the manga, you shouldn't count it. So that's kind of like how I run my channel, at least in my versus battles, which this will be the first in a set of videos I'm going to be doing with the Naruto franchise and pitting them against some comic book characters from Marvel and DC. And yeah, it should be really interesting. The battle is going to be taking place at the Uchiha hideout to make it a pretty fair fight, and not have a lot of people around, just a one-on-one fight between these two characters. And yeah, I think that's all that needs to be said. Also, just to clarify, we are going to be talking about the Alive Itachi, not the Edo Tensei version. If this video is popular enough and y'all want to hear me give my thoughts on the Edo Tensei version of Itachi versus Batman, be sure to like the video and comment down below letting me know that you guys want to see that. Kind of have the next few versus battles planned out already, but if y'all guys are interested in that, I will whip that one out after this one, and yeah, just let me know. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into today's battle, and yeah, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to be going over is Batman and Itachi's natural strength. Now, we'll first start with Itachi. Now, Itachi, even though some of the Akatsuki members have been able to swap hands with the tailed beast, which would be a huge strength feat, by my knowledge, Itachi has never swapped hands with the tailed beast and instead uses his technical ability as well as his strategic capabilities, and him being a genius, to be able to defeat the Tail Beast. I'm not even sure if Itachi in canon ever actually defeated Tail Beast, as I believe Kisame was able to capture the one that they were sent after to get. So I'm not going to put Itachi on that level because there's no evidence that he would be able to have the strength to be able to go up against the Tail Beast in a physical sense, not with its techniques. But I would say that Itachi is probably at the peak physical condition for a human. And if that's different in the Naruto world, then that would definitely change, his strength level. But overall, I would say it's probably peak human strength and agility and stuff like that. Now, when we go in, we look at the New 52 Batman. All Batmans, basically in all different types of canon, are all at the peak physical strength and speed for a human. Basically, that's just Batman's thing. It's kind of like Superman with his heat vision. It's just part of his character, despite which canon you're taking from. So with the New 52 Batman, we can say that he has peak physical ability or peak physical condition. So overall, when it comes to strength, they're pretty even in that both of them shouldn't have like superhuman strength. But one thing we do need to keep in mind that if Itachi were stronger, in a chakra sense, I guess you could say, if it were to boost his strength capabilities above a normal human, Batman has fought people that are stronger than him and has been able to take hits as well as be able to maneuver his way around basically and make it to where he's not getting hit by their full force punches and stuff like that. And in the case that he does get punched, he has been able to take hits from people way stronger than him. So this shouldn't be a factor in deciding if this would be able to like one-shot Batman or something like that in a fight with Itachi. So overall, strength-wise, I would say they're pretty even, and let's move on to the next topic. So the next thing we need to talk about is their speed. Now, I think most Naruto fans would agree that Itachi, while he's alive, and sick, is probably around a lightning timer. I think pushing it to say that he's a little past lightning timer is a little too far, considering that he needed the Susanoo to be able to actually dodge Kirin. Now, Kirin could be looked at as a regular lightning bolt, or it could be looked at as faster because it's being made as a move basically from Sasuke. But one thing I would say is that despite the fire jutsu making Kirin in the sky, Kirin is said to be made out of regular natural lightning. So there's really no evidence that he would be any faster than a regular lightning bolt, and the fact that Itachi could not dodge it without using Susanoo to block the attack really shows to me that he would not be on the level of, let's say, the Raikage or Minato or some, players of that caliber. So I would say speed-wise, Itachi is probably lightning timed. When it comes to, his reaction speed as well. His movement speed, I would say, is probably a little below that. Because he definitely could have dodged out of the way had he had that type of movement speed. So I would say that he's probably around lightning timer or, around relative to that. When we look at Batman, being a regular human doesn't have like chakra or something like that. His natural speed, his travel speed, as you would say, isn't going to be any better than what we could achieve in the real world. So whoever is the fastest in the real world, we probably use him as a base for what Batman should be able or be capable of doing, moving wise. But Batman's specialty is really his dodging skills and his reaction speed, basically, and that's the biggest thing that gives Batman the edge in order to fight people way stronger or faster than him, is his reaction speed. Now, New 52's reaction speed is very relative to maybe faster than Lightning. Definitely over a lightning timer in reaction speed because he's constantly dodged lightning from almost point blank range. And this is shown in a ton of different scenes, basically. And this isn't only for New 52, but, overall, Batman, the type of opponents he fights against people like Mr. Freeze that shoots like an ice gun, ray, and is constantly able to dodge these type of attacks, these type of beam attacks, pretty close range, in almost like a second's time, or, basically like in a split second having to dodge out of the way. He's able to do it almost consistently. So I definitely would put him at least faster than Lightning in his reaction speed, and in his travel speed, definitely just the peak of what we could achieve here in the real world, be it like a runner or something like that, an athlete runner, I guess you could say. Because that's how it's kind of mentioned to us, even in Batman's origin, it was mentioned to us that he's at the peak level of what is possible in the human world, basically. And that was, made during that time in the 1930s, but, Batman's still being made today, so we should assume that it's the peak of modern records and stuff like that for a human peak condition. So he should be around that speed. Nothing even close to what Itachi can move travel-wise, but as far as reaction speed, I would say that Batman's definitely way faster than Itachi in what he can react to, considering that he doesn't need to use anything to block lightning, but usually dodges out of the way before the lightning can actually hit him. And like I said, this isn't just with lightning. This is beam attacks, heat vision from Superman, the Omega beams. I'm not sure if he's ever dodged that or not. But in the I think in one of the animated movies he did, but I'm not sure if that's an adaptation of the 52 or not. So I won't mention that. I won't put that. But he has dodged faster beams than him, and that's only possible due to reaction speed, not his travel speed. So overall, Itachi definitely has the better travel speed, but I would give the edge to Batman for having reaction speed, being able to dodge stuff like I said, lightning, heat vision from Superman, and beam attacks from Mr. Freeze and other people that use type of beam attacks, like Firefly, Green Lantern, and stuff like that. And as far as his reaction speed, you even have him reacting to people like Green Lantern. And when Batman's in a situation, his reaction to it, not being afraid and being able to keep a clear mind and stuff like that during even situations where he seems overpowered or just basically about to be taken out by his opponent, is able to still get himself out of these type of situations by keeping a clear head and reacting instantly with whatever needs to be put out to get him out of the situation, be it smoke bombs or a teaser or a batarang or stuff like that, just different things. He'll usually use that, and that goes with his reaction speed as well. But I think that's enough for the speed side of the video, so let's jump into the next topic. Now the next topic is their tech. Their tech is going to be this is going to be probably the longest part of the video, because as far as tech goes, or skill, Itachi has powers, Batman doesn't, so again, we're going to go with Itachi first. Itachi has different things. The first thing we need to talk about is Susanoo. Susanoo is an ability that Itachi can use to kind of light block almost any attack that Batman does. If Susanoo is implemented before Batman can take the fight, I do believe Itachi will probably win. And because there's really nothing I think Batman could do against something like Susanoo because of its giant size. He would have to call in like his Batjet or stuff like that. And this, I really wanted to be kind of like just a one-on-one fight. So I would say in that scenario, I couldn't really come up with an answer for what Batman would do against the Susanoo. And that being the Toaster Blade, or, I forgot what it's called. Is the Yamato Shield? Or the Yada Shield. Yeah, the Yada Shield. So, the Toaster Blade and the Yada Shield. Now, the main problem is the Yada Shield. Because it can block, all types of chakra attacks. I'm not sure if it would do well against non-chakra attacks. I know that Sasuke used his paper bombs and they did nothing, but I doubt those are the same potency as what Batman uses against his type of opponents, as the people he's going up against. He used to have like really strong explosives. So I wouldn't say they're on that level, but there's no way to prove that would break the Susanoo. So, but I believe it's the Yadamir that's the biggest problem. I think the Toaster Blade, as I was mentioning, is that if you're going to assume that Itachi could barely dodge the Kirin by putting Susanoo up, that to me, I wouldn't say that Susanoo, at least Itachi's version, is not going to be above lightning and speed, so Batman should be able to dodge the Toaster Blade if he tries to fire it and seal away Batman, basically. So I think the biggest problem is getting past the Yadamir. Now, getting Susanoo out of the way, that's the only win condition I would say that Itachi really has. And I'm going to explain all of Itachi's different techniques and how I think Batman would actually counter them. So the first thing we need to talk about out of the rest of the techniques is Matsuratsu. Matsuratsu is an ability that seems overpowered until you really think about it. And Matsuratsu is a flame attack. And it would be deadly and could be a win condition if it didn't give you any indication that you were about to use it. Especially in Itachi's case, Itachi's eye starts bleeding, and in the series it's confirmed to us that you can actually feel the chakra, or you get this feeling when the attack's about to hit you. Considering that Batman has dodged beam attacks that are like almost point blank, there's no reason to think that if he can feel that something's about to hit him, he's not going to dodge out of the way. And Susanoo does not follow the opponent unless the opponent moves their eyes to where the opponent's at. And it kind of has to move to that area. It doesn't just instantly appear there to the new destination, basically where the eyes are looking at the target. So that's the first thing, is Matsuratsu shouldn't be a thing. If he were about to get hit by it and could not dodge it, he could probably use his cape. Considering that his cape is able to dodge a lot of stuff, be it, regular fire or like, I think sometimes he uses it against like beam attacks and stuff like that when he really has to dodge something and cannot dodge out of the way with his reaction speed. So that's the first thing. Now we go into his other techniques being like Izanami. Izanami will not work because you have to do the same movements twice, and I doubt in a battle with skill, like what happened with Sasuke and Itachi in the Uchiha hideout when it came hand to hand, that Itachi's going to be able to do what he did to Kabuto. It just won't happen. Batman has so many different fighting techniques that he's going to be switching them throughout the fight. And if you really think Itachi's going to force Batman, who's definitely smarter than him, into doing the same type of fighting style, if it's not working, it's just not going to happen. So Izanami is not an option. Izanagi could be an option, but that's only Itachi will only do that if Batman's going to take the win, and Itachi will weaken himself by doing that. Basically just restart the match. You could say that he could use it to restart the match and then use Susanoo, but considering he had two eyes and he was barely able to hold Susanoo for like a few minutes or what, Batman would just have to wait him out, and then he would lose Susanoo. It just Itachi as many times where he's like basically like dying, and Susanoo's just like breaking down. And remember, this is the Itachi from the Itachi Pursuit arc. This is not Ito Tensei Itachi. So these are weaknesses that have to be factored into this battle. So Izanagi shouldn't be a factor either. The last thing we need to talk about is his Genjutsu and his Tsukiyomi. So regular Genjutsu shouldn't work on Batman because Batman during the New 52 had went up against an opponent with the entire Justice League. He tried using illusions, and Batman out of all the Justice League showed the most mental strength. Tsukiyomi should not work as well. Tsukiyomi is a technique that requires a strong mental will, basically, and if you're able to handle the torture, you should be completely fine. Now, with Batman in the New 52, in the first two volumes, he basically has this situation where he goes 8 days without food or water, or he has water that's been tampered with. Basically, that's like drug, And he deals with that for 8 days, and right after the 8 days are done, he actually gets into a fight, or on the 8th day, he gets into a fight with the lead Talon, who's on a similar skill level as Batman, which is what Itachi and Batman kind of are. And Batman was able to beat him, despite being drugged and 8 days without food, basically. So, considering the damage that Itachi would try to do with Tsukiyomi probably wouldn't work, and considering Tsukiyomi only is a second in real time, there's no reason why the fight won't continue right after that. So yeah, and I guess the last thing we need to talk about when it comes to skill slash tech is Itachi's Shuriken ability. Now, when we're talking about, Itachi's Shuriken ability, we have to talk about Batman's Batarang skills as well, his ability to be able to use those. And Batman's Batarang ability is so good, he's constantly able to throw multiple Batarangs and hit different targets pinpoint during battle. And one thing that we need to realize is that when Batman's doing this, he's being surrounded by multiple opponents. Now, every time we have seen Itachi use his Shuriken type jutsus and that, he's always in like a one-on-one situation. And that's not really the same thing as being surrounded, being attacked from all angles. So, on the ground surface, you would think that Itachi has a better tech than Batman. But he's never in those type of situations where he's literally surrounded and he's having to hit pinpoint targets. So that's very important to keep in mind. Now, Itachi does have the Sharingan, and that allows him to see a little bit of his opponent's movements. It doesn't completely predict the future, but it gives you a sense of what your opponent's going to do. So if it came to a battle of Batarangs and Shurikens, which it wouldn't, but if it did, the Shurikens definitely have a bigger chance of winning out because he would be able to track Batman's movements. But one thing that's different, that's very different, is Batman has different types of batteries, be it explosives or ones that like freeze, ones that stick. Basically, there's so many different versions. Some that like stick you to place basically on the ground. If that happens, Itachi won't be able to do nothing. So in a situation like what happened with Sasuke and Itachi, where they're just throwing tons of shurikens, and that if that happens, they're not going to be regular batteries. They're going to be different types. And it can really stop a lot of that fight from continuing if that were to happen. So that's very important to keep in mind. And I think that's all as far as tech. For Batman, it's very simple. He has his grappling gun. He has his smoke bombs that he can use for strategy to get away. He has his flash grenades, basically his flash bombs. And I believe the flash bombs are the biggest advantage Batman has in tech. Like I said, Susanoo is very hard to beat, and it's probably the only reason why I don't think Batman could beat Itachi every time. But the flash bombs are very important. That the flash bombs basically will blind the area. It will put a giant light, and this will cause Itachi to not be able to see. And without Itachi's Sharingan, he's really not that great. Against someone like Batman that has a ton of martial arts training. This is assuming, again, that this is a full-on fair fight and Batman doesn't have lenses where he can withstand the blast, basically, the beam. If he can still see and Itachi can't, the fight's over, right there. But if we're assuming that he's going to have to be strategic with it and only use it as a diversion to get some hits, there are other ways he can get around this, such as using the blinding bomb, basically, the light bombs, and basically get Itachi to close his eyes, and when he does that, hit him with batarangs to take out his eyes, or different means. There's been multiple cases in not only the New 52, but just Batman in general, where he's fought people that use eye powers, and he puts these little like explosives, or he puts something on their eyes, and if that happens, Itachi can't use something like a Matsuratsu because he'll burn his eyeballs out. He might kill himself basically by doing that. So there's so many different ways this can go, and I think that's a huge advantage that Batman has. If Genjutsu does not work, this is going to become a battle of hand to hand, or Itachi, if Itachi understands who he's fighting, he'll use Susanoo and win the battle. But considering that we're putting them in character, I don't see that happening. I see him actually trying to fight Batman, and he will lose if he does that. Because there's just too much of an advantage of, the stuff Batman can do that don't require chakra, so there's no negating what Batman can do. They're not chakra, they're actually physical things, physical weapons, basically. And, this is just, what could happen, basically, in a Tetsuya fight between the two. Now, I think we should jump into the final topic. Now, the final thing we need to go over is their durability. Itachi, we're going to start off with, and Itachi's durability is good, but it's not great. And Itachi, considering we're using the live version, not the Edo Tensei version, Itachi has multiple moments during his fight with Sasuke where he's coughing up blood, and he's kind of like giving Sasuke the opportunity to be able to attack him. Sasuke never goes in for the kill, at least he can't. In a lot of these situations where he gets too cocky and he thinks he has all the time in the world. The difference between that and Batman, which is very important, is that Batman won't hesitate if that opportunity arises, which it will multiple times during the fight. Now, Itachi was able to take some hits and be able to dodge some hits and stuff like that during his fight with Sasuke, but if you remember that Itachi actually got hurt by the shuriken, the giant shuriken that Sasuke had rid to explode, that blade actually pierced his skin. There's no reason to believe that Batman's batarangs can't pierce, Itachi's skin either. So that means taking out his eyes with them is a very possible reality of the situation. And not only that, but we could, say that you could hit him in different points of the body. With his different types of weapons. Like I said, Itachi dodge the lightning of Kirin by using Susanoo, but something like a taser might actually work on it. There's no way to prove that, so I won't say that's a big factor, but it is something to keep in mind. And yeah, and explosions of course would kill him, but considering putting them in character, I would say I would want Batman to just knock Itachi out. I don't think he would kill him. Whereas Itachi definitely would try to kill Batman. He's not going to hold back. Itachi doesn't show any of that, like he wouldn't kill. He definitely would kill. But I would say that Batman wouldn't. So I don't think he would use explosions to actually kill Itachi. And yeah, and their durability, Batman, like I said, has taken multiple hits from very strong people that are stronger than him. So there's no reason to believe that he can't, one, take Itachi physically, his actual body, take those type of hits like what Sasuke took during their confrontation in the Uchiha hideout. It's very possible that Batman would just get up like it's nothing compared to Sasuke, who was like breathing heavily and like just getting completely stomped by Itachi. Batman's not like that. He doesn't give in to pain like that. So that's very important to keep in mind if you're talking about a very fast-paced battle. It's not going to be like Sasuke versus Itachi where they're taking massive breaks and stuff to talk to each other. Yeah, like I said, he has different things to get out of the way. He has the batarangs, he has the smoke bombs, he has the grappling gun. And the grappling gun also works as a projectile to bring your opponent to you, which Batman has used that as well. And it's just very important to keep all those different options in mind when you're talking about what would happen in this fight. And like I said, as far as durability goes, I would give that to Batman because Batman has fought people that are way stronger than Itachi and been able to get up after getting hit by them. Of course, with them holding back, but the fact still remains that they are way stronger than the Narutoverse. He's still taking those hits. So that's very important. So regular physical hits from Itachi should not take out Batman. And as far as Itachi goes, throughout the fight he's throwing up blood and stuff like that. And when that happens, Batman's going to take advantage and he's going to take him out. Unless Itachi uses Susanoo to end the fight. And basically overpower Batman. And I think that's all we have to talk about with their durability. Real quick, I would mention that even in Ito Tensei, even though we're not using him, he did get sliced in half by Kabuto, who was in Sage Mode. And like I said, Batman has fought people definitely stronger than Sage Mode Kabuto, and does not get cut in half when he gets hit. So that's important to keep in mind. But like I said, that's like something that doesn't matter, because that's Ito Tensei Itachi. You can assume certain things. Maybe his body's different. And is able to be cut into easier, but that's something you should keep in mind. And yeah, that has to do with the durability, and I think that's it. We covered 4 different aspects of the fight, being speed, tech, durability, and strength. I gave you guys my thoughts. Like I said, a lot of people, when you hear this matchup, you think it might be one-sided, but you have to understand that even though Itachi, and like I said, Susanoo is probably the one thing that I can't really think of something that can get around it. The only reason for that is because the blind bombs, or the light bombs, they wouldn't stop Itachi from using Susanoo, because by what I understand from the series, Madara used Susanoo without eyes, so it wouldn't be right to assume that Itachi's Susanoo would just go out if his eyes closed. That just wouldn't be right. And like I said, bringing back Ito Tensei Itachi, he did use Susanoo during the Kabuto fight when they were blind. So it wouldn't be fair to say that, it wouldn't work. But other than that, I think the fight really would be in Batman's favor. I think there's way more opportunities, especially with Itachi's durability being a massive downfall, and would offer so many opportunities for the fight to end instantly if Batman were to use all his tech. And even just his regular fighting moves, his fighting styles, he knows how to take down opponents. Remember, Itachi's still a regular person. The regular people in Naruto, they just have chakra. And that's very important to keep in mind, that they can't be taken out by regular means such as a kunai or a paper bomb. A paper bomb almost killed Sakura during the fight with Sasori, where Chiyo helping her and stuff like that. So these things can still kill ninjas, You even had a situation in Pain's flashback where Hanzo thought he killed Nagato with just paper bombs. This stuff happens in Naruto, even though it's not common. So we do have to keep that in mind that these things can defeat Itachi, and I think he would. I think he would beat Itachi. But that's gonna be all, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this first versus video. The next video on the channel regarding versus is going to be Doomsday versus the Akatsuki, and I think that one's going to be a lot more fun because we're going to be talking about all the different Akatsuki members and Doomsday and what he is capable of. And I think it'd be a really cool video to do villain versus villains. And we're just going to be doing this hopefully even maybe once a week, every week, or maybe twice a month, something like that. We're going to have to figure it out as we're going by it. But these should be pretty cool videos because, it's really cool to pit the Naruto cast against stuff from comics such as Marvel and DC. And we will be getting a Marvel video against Naruto really soon. The Naruto series. But I want to keep that one a secret until it drops. And yeah, but the next video will be Doomsday versus the Akatsuki. That's going to be all, guys. If you want to support the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And let me know down below who you think would win this hypothetical matchup. And why. If you think I'm wrong about any of my analysis and my experience with the New 52 Batman and Itachi from the Naruto franchise, I got anything wrong, be sure to comment down below. Let me know if there's any new information or information that might have been useful in determining who would win in a fight. Like I said, overall my verdict is Batman would win most of the time, but I do think Itachi, if he's able to get Susanoo out, would probably beat Batman if he were to defeat him before it runs out, because Susanoo will run out. That's what happened against Sasuke. So if Batman can outlast it, he's gonna beat Itachi, period. But in that case, I would say Itachi wins in that case. But overall, I would give it more to Batman in most fights, if we were to put them up against each other multiple times. That's gonna be all, guys. Until next video, God bless you. Until the next lesson, keep on reading those comments.